Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first episode of what I'm calling Going for Gold. Maybe. I don't know really what I'm going to call it, but whatever I'm going to call it, this is the first episode of Team Canada going to the Olympics. That's right, the 2020 Olympic Games starts right now. Well, not the games themselves start right now, but the Olympic qualifying actually begins in about 11 days from now. And why we're here right now is because it's time to choose our squad. I am the coach for the under-23 team for Team Canada. We've got our Olympic Games qualifying group coming up, and we need to pick a 23-man squad to get us to the Olympic Games. They have to all be under 23s for the qualifying. We can't have any extra players. We can't have any not professional, but we can't have any senior players on the squad for a couple of reasons. First, there's an age restriction. And secondly, if you look at the schedule, we got World Cup qualifying we got to worry about here as well, as the under-20s are also worried about their international squad announcements. So it's a packed schedule for the Canadian national teams, and our player pool isn't that big. It's not like a lot of other countries where they've got tons and tons of players to choose from. You know, Canada is geographically very large, but population-wise fairly small. Look at our player pool, isn't particularly large. And we look at, let's see, everybody available for the under-23s. It's not a huge pool. You can see over here we've only got 10 goalkeepers to choose from, 31 defenders, only 11 defensive midfielders are eligible, 26 midfielders, 23 attacking midfielders, and 22 strikers. So that's not a lot of players available to us for the under-23s, and we've had to narrow it down to a pretty lean team, a pretty young team, a team with a lot of potential, but maybe not the most experienced and ready-to-go team that there is. So, with that in mind, let's take a look at the squad and see who I've chosen and get ready to finalize the roster. So if we're going to go with the basic 4-1-2-3, that's a possibility to play a little defensive. We got form number 2 going on here. That's a possibility. We could also have the diamond formation. So a lot of formations that I'm familiar with as a coach, a lot of formations that these players should be somewhat familiar with. But let's take a look at the predicted starting lineup. I've chosen Carlo Lucic for goalkeeper, mainly because he's pretty good, 19 years old, contracted to KW United, which is a amateur team. And, he's pretty good. Good aerial reach, decent reflexes, kicking. But most of all, even though he's unambitious, he is the most fit goalkeeper in terms of playing fitness. He's ready to go. I didn't want to pick a team full of guys who weren't fit. So Lucic is 85% fit. He's been playing. He's ready to go. Let's start him. Then at right fullback, we got Celebrini, 2.5-star player, 3.5-star potential. He's one of the best players on our team. 18 years old. He's in the Whitecaps Academy, or the residency, however they put it. He's got very good physicals, pace, balance, acceleration. His jumping reach isn't great for a fullback, but it's good enough. Pretty good mentals, great teamwork, really good tackling. He's got that, killer skill out there. We can have him just tackle all day long at the fullback position. That's very good skill to have for your fullbacks. Getting forward, he's also okay. 10 crossing isn't the worst. It's actually pretty good for an 18-year-old fullback. So we'll definitely take him. He can be versatile going forward and obviously tackling, which is what we want him for. Then at left fullback, Jordan Blernslingel. Weirdest last name I've ever seen. I do believe that is BL and then STL and then GL at the end. So Blernslingel. I have no idea what nationality that is from. Is he any kind of... No, he's just Canadian. Fluent in French and English, of course. But anyway, he's another very physical kid. 6'4", 14 strength, 15 jumping reach, 14 pace, acceleration. This kid's a monster on the back line. He could be a central defender with those kind of stats. But he plays out on the left wing. Very good mentals, positioning, and teamwork. Very good. His technicals are a little low. Only 9 tackling, 8 marking, 9 heading. Not great. 8 crossing. Not the best. But, man, he's just physically so imposing. You know, I couldn't pass him up. I couldn't pass him up on that defensive line. If we just have a big, huge, strong defensive line, guys who are athletic, who are fast, I don't see how we can go wrong with that. Then at central defense, we should have 2 very familiar names. First of all, Jaguar. He's our starting central defender right now for the Montreal Impact. So I don't know how many other teams in this competition are going to have a starting MLS defender on their back line, but that's what we've got in Jaguar. Good speed, good strength, jumping reach not so great, but mentally very strong, incredibly strong for this level, and then technically also very, very strong. 14 tackling, 12 marking, 13 passing. He's a guy who can pass the ball out of the back and start some of our attacks going forward, especially if we play him at that ball-playing defender. He might be able to do some damage here. That would be pretty good. And then Chevalier, he's a guy who's been called up to the senior team several times this year. He might not be called up this time. Hopefully they let us keep him and let us, qualify for the Olympics with him. But you should know all about Chevalier. He's a big, strong kid. Technically, he's not the greatest. Mentally, he's pretty good. 13 positioning, 12 heading. He's a guy who can stand on that back line, win headers, and, just sort of hopefully play solid defense for us. In front of them, we got another one of our own players, Ortiz. He's out on loan right now from Montreal, 17 years old. Not the greatest physically, but he does have good acceleration. He can get around, and again, 14 tackling is what his strength is. So this is another guy who's going to go out there, who's going to win the ball. We're going to be a tackling team. We're going to be a team that's going to cause havoc out there. Hopefully defensively and hopefully even offensively cause a little havoc. Get turnovers, counterattack, and get some goals. That would be very nice. In the midfield, Liam Fraser from Toronto FC 2. 21 years old, so one of the older players on the team. Central midfielder. Good pace, good mental attributes. Decision-making is very good. Teamwork, very good. Leadership, very good. Marking, passing, first touch, all pretty okay. He can be a good, versatile midfielder for us. Not the greatest vision, so he's a very, and not a lot of flair either, so he's just going to be a workman-like dude for us, but hopefully he'll be okay in that midfield. And another one of our players, Shamit Shom, 22 years old. He's out on loan. One of our highest valued players, $450,000. Very good mentals for this level. Lots of flair, vision, teamwork, passing, technique. So he's going to be our playmaker. We're going to have him play the advanced playmaker. Hopefully get him the ball. He tries long passes. Have him get the ball downfield to our wingers and our forwards. We got Awua here, 22 years old, from Vancouver Whitecaps. He's playing for their senior team. 6'5", really good jumping reach. So he's a guy we can sort of bomb down the wing to this guy. He'll hopefully win us some headers and put the ball in the box that way. Good mentals, very good teamwork, vision, work rate, great technique. Other than technique, though, his technicals are a little low. Dribbling, first touch, corners, crossing, long shots, passing, all that stuff is just sort of okay or below average. So, he's not the greatest player, but, it's kind of what we got at this moment. So, got to go with him. So, right wing is a little bit of a question mark for us right now, but I think it's okay. And if it's not okay, we can move this guy over to right wing and bring in one of our other left wingers, Alphonso Davies for Vancouver, one of the top young prospects in Major League Soccer, worth $850,000, so he's almost worth $1 million. 14 pace, 13 acceleration. His mentals are very good. A lot of flair, aggression, work rate. He's a tireless kid, runs down the sideline. Nice crossing, nice dribbling, nice technique and passing. So hopefully he'll be another playmaker, a secondary playmaker for us going forward. And everybody's job is, of course, to get the ball to our striker, Gianfranco Vasquez. You should also know about this guy. Okay physicals, 12 pace is okay, 13 balance, acceleration not great. Really strong mentals, aggression, anticipation, bravery, composure of 14. Off the ball, teamwork. And then all of those mentals lead up to his number one skill, finishing, 18 finishing. That's David Villa level finishing. I mean, that is amazing for an 18-year-old to have 18 finishing. I've never seen anything like it. So hopefully we can get this guy the ball and have him score a ton of goals. That's our job. In terms of reserves, got Montero as a reserve in goal. Paco Grande is in there, one of our young players from the academies. Very good technically. If we start losing people on the back line, if Chevalier is having trouble marking people, we can bring Grande in there. He's got 14 marking, 13 heading, so he can take care of those duties if one of our other defenders starts failing. Another one of the top guys on their team, Galvis, 22-year-old Canadian. He's very highly rated in terms of stars. But I really don't know where he fits because he's not physically imposing. Mentally, he's really average, but he doesn't have a lot of weaknesses in his game. Technically, great first touch and dribbling, but how that fits into a central midfielder, I don't really know. I don't really want this guy dribbling down the middle of the field. So even though he's pretty talented, I just don't know what to do with him. He's going to be on the bench, and we'll bring him in to do whatever. I don't know. We got Maricol coming off the bench. It's a tough decision to bring him in or not. He's only 17 years old. Not the greatest player in the world, but he does have good teamwork, work rate, nice pace, okay crossing. But we didn't really have a lot of options at right wing, so we brought him in. Left wing, Zanata is pretty good at the left wing. Pretty similar to Maricol, a little better. He's got some free kicking ability. Dribbling is a little better. Teamwork, vision, work rate, pretty good. 22 years old, so he's a little more experienced. Johnson, Munir are also reserves. Johnson is a target man, just in case we need to bring in a target man to change things up a little bit. Big, strong kid. Nice flair and determination, teamwork, work rate. So if we need somebody to go up front, if we're going to play that attacking 4-4-2 and we need a target man, that's why I brought Johnson in. And so that's pretty much our team in a nutshell. Not a lot of other options we can choose from. There's some guys from the under-20s we could possibly steal. I thought about bringing in Erwin Mendy, another one of our right wingers, a guy with a ton of speed and flair, but he got injured right before tryouts. So he was injured for like 2 or 3 weeks. I didn't want to put a guy like that on the team who's that injured, so we're going to leave him out. Frederic Carrera is another guy we left off. They're 17-year-olds, so we'll let them play in the under-20s, and, maybe next time. But there we go. That's the team that we're taking to the Olympic qualifying group. And here's who we've got in our group: Honduras, Trinidad, Tobago, and USA. We don't know a ton about these teams right now. Honduras has some holes in their lineup, namely defense. They got some blank dudes here for central defense, right defense, goalkeeper. And other than that, we don't know a lot about these other guys. So we got our scouts going out to scout these guys, and hopefully they can figure them out by the time tournament time comes around. Trinidad Tobago, similar issues. They got a problem at goalkeeper where they got a scrub there. They've actually got more players than I thought they would. But still, I don't know how good Trinidad Tobago is. They should be the weakest team in the group. And then finally, of course, USA under 20s. We know a little bit more about them. We've scouted several of their players already. We still have more to scout. But for now, we can see they're pretty comparable to our team. Luke Leon looks to be one of their best players, 19-year-old, contracted to RC Strasbourg. Pretty decent defender. Physically, he's not great other than his pace. Technically, not that great either. Good mentals. Pretty good, really good mentals. But, not that big a deal. Chris Rowe, contracted to Soccers FC. Don't know who that is. He's valued at $0, but he's a pretty talented 19-year-old. He might be a guy who's up for the draft in a year or two. He's an enthusiastic, ambitious winger. Very good physicals. Very good mentals. Work rate, teamwork. Pretty good technicals, too. Free kicking, crossing, technique. So we got to watch out for that guy. 2.5 stars. And their right wing, Alejandro Garza, contracted to the Chicago Magic. Another amateur team. And again, physicals. Really good. Really imposing winger with those physicals. Good mentals. Yeah, okay, technicals, I guess, for a 17-year-old. But overall, they look pretty comparable to us, even though Team USA is probably going to be favored in our group, unless the rest of these guys are... Whoa, wait a minute. They got Weston McKennie on the squad. This guy's really good. Okay, that changes things. Valued at $5 million. I did not recognize him. But yeah, he's going to be problems for us. Yeah, let's take a look at him. He's a central midfielder of just about any sort that they want. Really good. He's just really good. I mean, there's nothing to say. For this guy to be on the team, it's kind of unfair. But, we got to worry about that. We got to deal with that. Who else on this team looks like Tyler Adams? Another name that I recognize, 20 years old. He's also pretty good, valued at $3.3 million for the Red Bulls. 20 years old. Yeah, he's pretty good. Technically, he's very good. Marking, tackling, first touch, dribbling. Where does he play? He plays all over. Fullback, wingback, defensive midfielder. I could see that for sure. So they could be really tough in the midfield. We might have some issues here, actually. There's Jonathan Gonzalez. Hang on. He's supposed to be playing for Mexico. What's the deal? I don't know. I cry foul. Anyway, he's very good also. So they've got some ringers that we got to worry about. All right, so I take it back. The guys that we've scouted are pretty comparable to what we've got, but they do have some superstars that we got to worry about. Team USA. So it looks like they're going to be the toughest team, but we'll figure that out once we scout everybody. And that's going to be, very shortly. So that's just a quick preview of the roster and the teams we're going to play. The games are taking place in Puerto Rico, which I don't know if that's going to take place in real life, but hopefully Puerto Rico is a little bit more recovered by 2019 than it is right now. There's still lots of people in Puerto Rico without water, without electricity, so I don't know if they're ready to host a qualifying round for the Olympics. But maybe it'll help. Maybe it'll bring in some money, bring in some attention, bring in some sponsors, some infrastructure. So whatever. Hopefully it helps out and doesn't hinder things. But anyway, we're going to confirm our squad, get ready for Puerto Rico, get ready for Olympic qualifying in just 11 days. So until then, we'll see you later. Confirm, and goodbye.